Alright guys, day 4 of detailing this Viper. This thing is taking forever. So basically what's going on, let me explain the situation. Yesterday I started around 2 p.m. and worked till 10 p.m. 8 hours. I was only able to get the driver's side fender, the trunk, tail lights, and 70% of the hood done. That was it. And reason being is because this paint is extremely hard. The paint on this car is very, very hard. There's a good and a bad side to that. The good being that once the car is done being paint corrected and polished and everything, it'll be very hard to install those swirls or scratches or defects back into the car or back into the paint. And it'll take a while to do. It'll take a really long time for you to be able to even install like one swirl, as long as you're, not touching the paint as much whenever you're washing, properly lubricating the car or the paint. Like as long as you're not, taking a rag and passing it on the paint or the surface when it's dry or because it's dusty, you should be able, it should last you a really long time. Because again, hard paint, it's hard to install swirls, defects, and everything back onto it. The bad part is when you're doing the paint correction. When you're doing the paint correction, you have to change up your technique. It takes double the time. You have to use more compound. You have to frequently clean your pad. It's a job. So normally on a car, what I would do is I would work a whole panel in 2x2 sections. And I would do a whole panel without blowing out my pad. And I'll use like 4 to 5 pea-sized drops of compound. On this car, I had to change up my technique because that was not working. So what I've been having to do is use like 10 pea-sized drops of compound, work in 1x1 sections, and blow out my pad after every single pass on one section. So yeah, it's been a job because again, I have to frequently blow out my pad. I have to work in smaller portions for it to correct or improve or remove the defects. And I also have to apply more compound than what I'm used to applying. And again, it's been a job. All right, guys, so the Viper's all dried. We applied tire shine, all dried up in the garage. And now we're gonna apply our layer of protection. And what I'm gonna use is Falcon'sGarage Best Show of Wax. I've had this wax for a while and I've been wanting to try it. And this is the perfect car for it, because like I said, it doesn't make sense to apply permanent solution, I guess you can call it, since it doesn't come out much and it just sits in the garage and it's always covered. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pull out the DA, and then we're gonna go ahead and start applying the wax to the whole entire car. And then we gotta let it sit for about 15 to 30 minutes, it says is the recommended time, and then we'll be able to wipe off, and the paint will finally be done on the Viper. So let's get to it. Alright, and just like that, the whole entire Viper is waxed. We have to let it sit for 15 to 30 minutes, I believe it said. So I'm gonna let it just sit, dwell, do its thing. It rains or something, let's head out. This car will be in the rain. Because since it's been with us, it's never seen it rain. But if it does get rain, then hopefully it helps out with the water. Alright guys, I have the Viper in front of me. I don't know if you guys can hear me because this car idles pretty loud, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how it looks outside. I gave you guys a little bit of a walk around, but now I'm gonna give you guys like actual close-ups of the paint so you guys can see how good it came out. Let me show you. So that is going to complete the detailing on the Viper. I'm talking loud because it's still idling. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below of how the car came out. This was day 5. We still have one more day to go, however, because we still got to do the interior. I won't be able to get to it this weekend, so there's gonna be like a little bit of a break in between. But next week, definitely get the interior done, and I'll bring you guys along, and that will be a whole another upload. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below of how the paint came out. I think it came out amazing. The car is literally flawless and the glossiest and shiniest I've ever seen this car ever. Like, I'm just blown away by the results. But if you guys did like the video, please like, share, subscribe, turn on that bell notification icon, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. As always, stay safe, stay tuned.